is the global news update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Former South Korean First Lady arrested. National Guard deployed in Washington, D.C. Malaysia's federal court allows Najib Razak to seek house arrest. Japan's wholesale inflation slows. We start today with a focus in politics. Former South Korean First Lady arrested. South Korea's former First Lady Kim Keon has been arrested on allegations including bribery, stock manipulation, and interference in the 2022 legislative by-election, as investigators probe the presidency of her husband, impeached former President Yoon Suk-yeol. Held in a detention center in southern Seoul, Kim is accused of exerting undue influence on political nominations and receiving luxury gifts via intermediaries. Her arrest follows a special prosecutor investigation launched under the new Liberal government of President Lee Jae-myung, which is also examining Yoon's controversial power and alleged cover-ups. Kim is expected to face further questioning this week, with authorities warning she could attempt to destroy evidence. Still in politics, National Guard deployed in Washington, D.C. U.S. National Guard troops have begun deploying across Washington, D.C. following President Donald Trump's decision to send 800 troops and 500 federal law enforcement agents to the city, citing rising violent crimes. Armored vehicles have been seen near tourist areas and government buildings, with barricades erected and arrests already made for homicide, gun offenses, and drug crimes. While DC Mayor Murray Bowser and Police Chief Pamela Smith emphasized cooperation with federal forces to remove illegal guns, Bowser criticized the deployment as an authoritarian push and calls for community action and political countermeasures. The surge comes amid ongoing concerns of a violent incident, including a recent homicide near the White House, despite data showing a decline in overall crime in the city last year. Moving on in politics, Malaysia's federal court allows Najib Razak to seek house arrest. Malaysia's top court has cleared the way for jailed former Prime Minister Najib Razak to pursue a judicial review that could allow him to serve the remainder of the sentence under house arrest. Najib, imprisoned since 2022 over the multi-billion-dollar 1MDB scandal, argued that a royal addendum to a pardon by former King Al Sultan Abdullah entitles him to home detention. While the federal court acknowledged the existence of the royal document, it referred the case to the High Court to verify its authenticity, with the next hearing scheduled for August 18th. Supporters gathered outside the court, and Najib's legal team urged the government to honor the king's decree, emphasizing that royal decisions are rarely challenged under Malaysia's constitution. Turning to economy, Japan's wholesale inflation slows. Japan's wholesale inflation slowed for the fourth consecutive month in July, rising 2.6% year-on-year compared to 2.9% in June, as falling chemical and steel prices offset continued gains in food and agriculture costs. The Bank of Japan's data showed import prices in yen dropped 10.4% from a year earlier, while food and beverage prices climbed 4.2%, signaling persistent cost pressures in key sectors. Analysts says the figures support the BOJ's view that raw material-driven inflation is easing, though ongoing food price rises could keep the market's expectation alive for another interest rate hike after January's move to 0.5%. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In international relations, Russia and North Korea strengthen military ties. Russian President Vladimir Putin has briefed North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un on his upcoming meeting with US President Donald Trump, as Moscow and Pyongyang continue to strengthen their security and military ties. According to the Kremlin, Putin praised North Korea's support on Russia's Western Front, highlighting the valor, heroism, and selflessness of deployed troops. The phone call underscores the ongoing close cooperation between the two nations following their 2024 Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement and comes ahead of Friday's talk in Anchorage, Alaska, where Trump and Putin are expected to discuss ways to address the war in Ukraine. Still in international relations, Zelensky joins European leaders to pressure Trump ahead of Alaska summit with Putin. Ukrainian President Zelensky is joining European leaders in urgent talks ahead of US President Donald Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska this Friday. The leaders are expected to press Trump to ensure Ukraine has a seat at the table and to reject any forced changes to its border amid concerns over Russia's ongoing Donbas offensive. Zelensky has warned that conceding territory could fuel further Russian attacks, while European allies, including Germany and the UK, stress that Ukraine's sovereignty must be respected. Trump has hinted at some swapping of territories, raising fears Kyiv could be pressured to cede land without consent. The White House described the Alaska meeting as a listening exercise for Trump as Ukraine continues to resist Russian advances on its eastern front. Moving to entertainment. 4 teens arrested in Brad Pitt home burglary. Los Angeles police have arrested 4 teenagers linked to a series of high-profile burglaries, including a break-in at actor Brad Pitt's home. The suspect, aged 16 to 18, and alleged street gang members, are accused of targeting celebrities and athletes using surveillance cameras hidden near properties and Wi-Fi jammers to disable security systems. Pitt's residence was raided in late June while he was promoting his new film, with thieves hopping a fence, smashing a window, and fleeing with stolen items. Police warn that the publicized appearances and social media posts can make public figures more vulnerable to such crimes. Now in sports. Fred Kerley suspended over whereabout failures. Olympic 100-meter silver and bronze medalist Fred Kerley has been provisionally suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit for whereabout failures, a violation of anti-doping rules. The 2022 world champion denies negligence, with his lawyer arguing that at least one alleged mistest should be dismissed due to procedural issues. Kerley, who withdrew from USA trials last month, citing personal challenges, last competed in June at the Grand Sprint Series in California. The American sprinter says he will contest the suspension and thanks supporters, noting that 2025 has presented many hurdles. That concludes our global news update for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojarume Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.